Alright guys, welcome back to Unit 2 of the CAD training. Hope you guys got to do some practice problems. If you couldn't get through all of them, that's understandable as we have not gone through the assemblies yet, which we will do today. First, just wanted to show you guys what we would be making, why you need to know CAD. Here's just like the shooter that I did this year. It's not that bad. I know it looks like a lot. It kind of is a lot, but it's okay. You guys will hopefully be able to do this when you're done with all these lessons, or at least get a start to it. Use the revolute baits to make it move here. Pretty self-explanatory on how this whole thing works. Just a shooter that goes out. So as you can see, there's like a couple small details in here, but overall, not too bad. All my parts are nice and organized here in different folders. That way it's not too messy. Final design, the assembly, the parts of the design, all that. This is what a good folder looks like. And then if we go over to the intake, no shame to them this year, but it took me a good 10 minutes before making this to find where it is, because they don't have any folders. Everything's just kind of out everywhere. It's hard to find anything. So it's really hard for me to find this assembly of their intake here. But you can kind of see how it would work going in and out. This one uses a couple advanced mates that we'll learn about today. But just want to show you guys some of what you could be creating here. Now we're going to go to create up here, document. You can name it whatever you want. I'm going to name mine CAD Unit 2. If you have a folder, you can throw it in there. That's great. Then once it loads up, first thing we're going to do, unlike the intake team this year, we are going to make a folder that says parts. Now, even if this is the only folder you have, I would recommend having more just to make it a little bit more specific if you have lots of parts. But this is just like the bare minimum, so you can see the full thing in your assembly and all the parts in here. Now, I'm just going to teach you guys a couple cool things that you can do. Starting with, we're just going to make a box. So I'm going to start by naming out all these parts. Box. Click the plus here. Create Part Studio. Name this one Rod. Then click the box. Create Part Studio. Triangle. Spelled correctly. Now, start with our box. I might do this kind of fast, so if you guys need to take your time, you could pause the video, slow it down, whatever you need. The main dimensions that you'll need is it will be a 5 by 5 square that you just make, and you'll extrude it out. Now, if your lines are blue like this, sometimes it's because you don't have it defined to a point, and it just thinks, oh, you can move it anywhere you want. So a good way to do that is just coincide that and that. Coincident just pretty much means they'll be inside each other. So if I coincide this dot with there, they'll both be on top of each other on the center dot. So we're just going to do that, extrude it out 5 inches to make it a cube. And then I'm going to do a new sketch on the face here. And I'm just going to make a square on the middle. I want 1/2 inch walls on my box, so I will be doing 4.5 by 4.5. And then this will actually give me 1/4 inch walls, but that's fine. Walls are walls. Extrude, remove since it's 5 inches. 4.75 to keep those 1/4 inch walls. Make sure to remove, not to add. Flip the direction on it. Now we have a box. However, I do want the box to look a little different. This is just showing you how to get kind of that center filled out. There's also a tool for that called the shell tool. If I didn't want to use the extrude or anything, I could just click it on the sketch and it would make a shell for me with a certain amount of wall thickness. In this one, however, I'm just using these to center my circle. It's really easy, just like that. If you guys didn't catch that, it's the same as doing a vertical between those two dots and a horizontal between those two dots. And then I will just dimension them from the top and bottom, 2.5, which is already done with the vertical and horizontal. And I'll just dimension this one, 1 inch. And then as long as the extrude covers just the middle, we will be fine. Now we're going to move over to the rod. Rod is pretty easy. Over there we made a 1-inch hole. So we will be making a 1-inch rod for this. Just dimension it out 1 inch. Extrude it. I'd say we made our hole around 5 inches deep. We want this sticking out a little bit, not too much. I'll go 7-inch rod. Should be pretty good. If you were really printing this, this would not fit in the hole. You'd have to do probably 0.95, something like that, just to adjust for tolerances. But for this purpose, I'm going to leave it at exactly 1 inch. And then for the triangle, I want the triangle to fit inside of the rod and above the box. So I will just make a triangle really quick, just like that, with a circle in the middle of the triangle. Gonna put the circle in the middle so we have a spot that we're starting from. Set the circle to 1 inch to go over the rod. Sides of the triangle can be 4 inches on all sides. And then all we have to do is make this bottom line horizontal to give us a kind of straight one, and dimension it out from the bottom. We'll say 1.5 inches. Now you just extrude the triangle. We'll extrude it 1 inch. There we are. Now we have all three of our parts: the box with the hole, the rod, and the triangle. These are pretty basic parts. You should hopefully have already known how to make all those. And now we'll get to the new spot. So all you have to do is go up here to Insert, click this, Current Document, and it'll show you all your stuff. I'm going to get the box, just click it, drag it around, and then click again to place it. Click the rod and the triangle, and then click the green check mark. Now all your stuff is in here. It's kind of floating around in space. I know that I don't want my box to move at all, so I will fix the box by right-clicking and clicking Fix. Now I can't move that. See, it gives me a little error symbol, but I can move these two still. Now, what I want to do is to be able to slide the rod in and out of the box and have the triangle spin on the top. Now, for a normal mate, say I just want the triangle on top and the rod in the middle, I use this thing up here called the Fasten Mate. You click it, you go over to your part, and you can see a whole bunch of stuff appears on it. Like here's a bunch of dots. That's just showing you where it's going to fasten. So right now, the circle is in the middle, showing me that is the point that's going to attach. So I want to attach that point to the point in the bottom of the box. So I see the circles at the bottom of the box. I click it, and oh no, it's going the wrong way. So I click this little arrow to flip it. If I need to rotate it at all, I can click this. And then you can see now it's sticking out the top of the box. Click the check mark. I like what I'm seeing. And now over here, I want not the center of the triangle, but the center of the circle. So I move my mouse around till it gets there. And then I do the center of this circle. It's underneath again, so I flip the axis, and now it is on top. However, the problem with these mates is now I can't do anything. These are just fixed here. Sometimes that's great, but sometimes you want them to be able to move. So I'm going to get rid of these mates over here, drag all of our stuff back out, and show you how to make them move. So the two other main mates that you would probably use in an assembly, there's a lot of mates up here that you can use, but the main ones are going to be Fasten, Revolute, and Slider. I'm going to grab the Slider mate here, put it on the bottom of this and into the bottom of that. Then click the check. Now you can see this can slide up and down. However, it slides into infinity, and we don't want that. So what you can do is add the limits by checking this box. Set the minimum to 0 and the maximum to, let's say, 5. Let's test that out. Okay, so mine's going the wrong way. So I'm just going to reverse these, set the max to 0 and the minimum to -5. And now it goes up just a little bit too much. So I'm going to try a -4.75. Now it goes up just enough, and I have a thing that slides up and down. but it won't go all the way out and it won't go through the bottom at all. So this is perfect. This is what I want. Now to get the triangle to spin on the top of this, I'm going to use a revolute mate. All you have to do is click the center of the circle on the triangle, and then we want it on the top of this. Click the check mark, and now as you can see, our thing can rotate and our thing can go up and down. You can make it do weird stuff like this, but that's pretty much the basics of assembly. One more thing I do want to show you before we're done. Say that on the box, I just have 2 holes here. So we're just going to put a couple dots here. I'm not going to dimension these just because I'm just showing you how to do this. However, I do have to, so we'll go 2 inches apart. Make them horizontal. And then wherever they are on the box is fine. Click the check mark. Use the hole tool up here. Click both of these. I want a number 10 hole. Click the check mark. And then say I want to fasten just some random piece to it. All I will do is just make this random piece. It's just going to be a square. Get another set of holes on here. Make sure they're the same size. I'm using number 10. Now that we have this, go back into the assembly. Grab your random piece here. Put it in. And if I want to connect this onto here, sometimes I can just use the fasten mate. Put it on here. And it will work perfectly fine. Just like this. See, it lines up nice. However, sometimes it's weird and it kind of goes on like this, and no matter how you rotate it, you can't get it to line up. You can offset it like this and try and get the degrees right and try and guess it, but the better way to do it is to use 2 revolute mates. All you have to do is do 1 here and 1 on your first hole. Make sure it's facing the right side, and then just rotate this out so you can see the next one. Put it on the next hole. It's going to go move down here. All you have to do is click this solve button or the one up here, either one works, and it will solve it for you, and click the check mark. Now it doesn't rotate anymore and the holes automatically line up on the piece. So this was it for the basics of assembly. Below I'll have this linked, as well as in the CAD problems, which you should continue to work on. At the very bottom, there's a link to every single mate type up here and an example of it. So if you're interested in the planar mate, the cylindrical mate, any of these other mates up here, all you have to do is check out that document. It'll show you everything you need to know. If you have any other questions, feel free to ping me on Basecamp.